Alright, folks, welcome back to the Boys Green YouTube channel. It's time to look ahead to the game at the weekend against Aberdeen as the top two go head to head. I'm joined by Nathan and Alistair. How you doing, Alistair?
Good, thanks.
Nathan, how are you?
I'm good, mate.
Hi, Nathan. Obviously, Aberdeen, they've had a really good start to the season, and also can off an international break. What have you made Aberdeen's start to the season?
I'm happy another team's showing ambition. It's good for Scottish football. It's a shame that the game isn't on telly, mind you, but it's good. Good atmosphere for the game tomorrow as well. Saturday games are always pretty decent atmosphere.
Alistair, Nathan talks about ambition now. We always kind of talk about how your Hearts, your Hibs, Aberdeen, when it comes to managers, don't show enough ambition. It's just the same merry-go-round, really, that get the same jobs. But Aberdeen have shown a bit of ambition with Jimmy Teal. What have you made of them?
Yeah, I'm pleased for them, but I must admit, long term, I'm a wee bit cynical. I think they've been over-egged a teeny weeny bit, but I'm pleased for them, but I hope we put a statement out tomorrow. I really do.
Aye. Nathan talks obviously a lot. It's good to see because if I'm being honest with you, I think Scottish football's in a bit of a dire state, to be honest, when it comes to just over the overall game in this country. You look at clubs like Inverness, they're now getting into administration and stuff like that. You know, I think just
Are they?
over. Oh, aye, pretty much now. It's pretty much they're
Aye,
unsavable at this point.
Duncan Ferguson basically working for Hee-Haw.
Donated his wage. I donated his wage.
I just think the overall state of this game, I think it's been refreshing. That we're going into a game tomorrow, and we're not talking about the top two being Celtic. Obviously, Celtic are first, but you're not talking about Celtic Rangers being the top two. And I don't know how long Aberdeen could keep it up for Nathan, but obviously it's good to see that.
And I disagree with kind of your point about Scottish football. I don't think Scottish football's in a dire situation. I think it's in a situation where it's just stagnant. It's just the same thing. It's no dire. It's just boring. It's the same. It's the same thing. This Aberdeen manager, Tyne, is a breath of fresh air for the Scottish game. So I'm looking forward to. I mean, even I expect Celtic to win comfortably tomorrow because I expect Celtic to win comfortably any Scottish game that we go into. But I hope Aberdeen can keep it up. Obviously.
Well, Alistair, apparently the only UEFA recognised team who have won every single game they've played in this season, which is obviously they've had the Premier Sports Cup and they've had the league.
Yeah.
But you got to say, and I kind of fully recognise that the game before the international break, I think they were 2-1 down to Hearts, and they come back and win 3-2, which then I thought, right, they've got something here. Now, if they can continue that, as I've said, it'll be difficult for them. And as Nathan says, I think Celtic are still, overwhelming favourites due to everything, the budget, whatever. But I think Aberdeen, they've struggled the last kind of few years, but they seem to get their act. They seem to have their act together a bit now, Alistair.
I think they've only they've only been doing what Aberdeen teams should be doing, which is really beating 90% of the league that they play against. I mean, see, be honest, it says a lot how poor Aberdeen have been that everybody's getting excited at winning 7 games in a row. Granted, it's at the start of the season, but I would say this, but there's still a big question mark about Aberdeen because, quite frankly, I don't think an Aberdeen player will get in our bench.
No, they would. They should. They should be getting the best, but I don't think that takes away. Like, I don't know, and it's just my opinion on this, right? And I'm not an Aberdeen supporter. All of a sudden, I'm really impressed what they've done this season because every single season it's the same mediocrity when it comes to clubs, and clubs seem to blame the two the two big Glasgow clubs for their failures, and it's I think it is a bit irrelevant when it comes to the Aberdeen player we get into the Celtic squad. Well, obviously because we've got 10 times the budget, so I think it's only 7 games, and I completely understand it's only 7 games into a league season. But I think going on what we've seen is if they could keep this up, then there could be a possibility. I don't think they'll win the league, but there's a possibility they could break between Celtic and Rangers.
I think that's a target, to be honest with you. I don't think the target is to win the league. I think the target is to split us and our rivals,
Aye.
historical rivals, I could say.
I think Aberdeen fans are like that. I don't think Aberdeen fans think we're going to win the league. I don't think that. And if they do, then fair enough. But Nathan, obviously moving on to us for a bit. Obviously, we've in the league. It kind of speaks for itself. We've won all our games. We've conceded 1 goal in the league. We've got both teams can win with 100% record. It's pretty much it needs to be just business as usual what we're doing before the international break. The one thing I would have is about the games after the international break. It can be a bit stagnant. So I think if it gets to Celtic Park and we're still 30 minutes in, and it's maybe no, I maybe should tell myself that, but if it gets to 30, 40 minutes at Celtic Park and it's maybe still no gone, I think what I'm trying to say is games after international break can be quite scrappy because you've been away for a week, 2 weeks, and you're I think we saw it, to be honest, after the first international break of the season, where it was just a bit scrappy. But Nathan, Celtic need to just go and do their business, and we should be winning the game.
I think there was something that Rodgers was saying in his conference today that was pretty concerning. He was obviously talking about niggles to Taylor and Austin Trusty coming back for America and things like that. So if you look at the Aberdeen side, I know there's internationals there, but a lot of them stayed in Scotland and things like that. In the UK, we've got players obviously that going abroad and things like that, like Dizan and Rio and things like that. So if you're
Rio,
going in these,
who played absolutely no parts at the bench.
well, exactly that's probably worse for a player because that knocks the confidence
Pointless, man.
and he's away over there. So this game tomorrow is set up for a really hard game. So it's difficult.
And people right to have been a confident sales. Now, obviously, we'll come into score predictions later on, but people are saying to me, "I've got to blow them away," and I'm like, I don't know. I still think we might maybe win a 3-1 or maybe a 2-1, but I don't think it's going to be. We could go there. We could go there, win 3-4-0, and me and you could be outside Celtic Parks talking about how we've blown them away, and it was never really a problem. I don't think it will be a problem tomorrow. I just think it's a different kind of challenge because obviously for years, probably since Rodgers' first time, it's been Rangers or second and whatever. That's Aberdeen.
Aberdeen were second in Rodgers this year.
It's a different challenge because we've not really seen this Aberdeen team against Celtic or Rangers, so we don't really know what to expect when they come up against the big two.
Aberdeen's biggest strength is the unknown, is the manager. We don't know how the manager's going to set up. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've not seen much Jimmy Tillin, his team's play. I've seen clips, highlights, and games, obviously, but I couldn't tell you what formation they play. Do they play counter attack? Do they play in the front foot? I couldn't really tell you.
I know
they're quite attacking.
Quite attacking wise. Because I actually watched the kind of tactical video during the week on them. it was a four. I think they play like a 4-5-1. They're quite attacking and stuff like that. So if they go with the way they normally play, and most of the time when they play different, and I hope this doesn't happen. They play different to the rest of the league and come and sit back at Celtic Park and just kind of accept it. But it's normally a kind of 4-5-1. They're dead attacking and quite quick.
Get the ball A to B quite quick.
Yeah.
But I think obviously we've given a great how we are formed, especially this domestically, with a really tough run of games. But before the international break there, you had your Hibs away and stuff like that, Rangers at home. I think even we've got a tough run of fixtures even after
7
this game
games
as well.
in 21 days.
Because we go to Atalanta on Wednesday night, and then you've got you need to play Aberdeen again over these next few weeks. You've got Motherwell at the next weekend away. So it's going to test the squad, Nathan, and how much depth we've actually got, because we're always saying where's Valley going to come in, where's Trusty going to come in. Well, these are the games, because we're going to have a lot of games to be played.
Yeah, I mean, Valley's been playing a lot of the games. To be fair, he'll be playing against Atalanta because obviously Rogers came out and said Taylor's going to be fit after the Atalanta game. But I've actually got a question for.
I've got
I've got a question for both of you today. Do you know? I think because we've won every game apart from Dortmund, but do you know? I think does it not feel a bit depleted to you, or is it just me feeling a bit, sort of? I don't know. I just don't feel as after the Dortmund game. I just feel a bit, it doesn't feel like we've won 10 out of 11 games.
Well, I think the Dortmund game.
That, didn't we?
Aye, me and Alistair, we obviously discussed after the Dortmund game. It kind of knocked the stuffing out us, really, because we went into that game after that win against St Johnstone, all buoyed, and then we just get hammered pretty much, obviously. So I can understand that in a sense, and we only really had the Ross County game to rectify it, really, which I thought we done well. I know it was a 2-1 in the last 10 minutes, but I think we still did well to come back, because I think a lot of them, that would have had an effect, because we've got a young squad. If you look at it, Engels is young, Bernardo's young. We've not really got. You've got your Schmeichels in term, but it's a young squad there, so of course it's going to have somewhat of an effect on them. I get what you mean, but I think it's I think a Celtic team have shown domestically that they can they'll be fine when it comes. Now, obviously, the European discussion is another discussion. Really, it's we'll discuss that when the time comes. About Atalanta, but I think there's no really any problem, and I get it. It doesn't look that we've had that great a season because you've got that major stain on the record of getting beat 7-1.
Because you forget that you won 5-1 in Europe as well.
That seems to have went out the window.
Well, Nathan, if you look at it this way, well, where we expected to be. I mean, none of us expected to get beat 7-1, but in reality, we probably did expect to lose in Dortmund.
No, but
the manner of it.
The thing is I think what's annoying me the most, and obviously this isn't the subject of the video, so I'll not talk about it too long. I think Rodgers' attitude to it is absolutely stinking. It's really annoying, the fact that he doesn't realise that you can't just be one dimensional in Europe. That's what's really annoying me after the things and all. It's kind of saying we're not going to change the way we play. Well, how are we going to improve? Because the whole thing of this year is we spent that money to improve, not just win the league and things like that. And that's what's annoying me. It feels like we're sort of in the same situation we're always going to be in. Oh yeah, you're expected to dominate the league, but you're just not progress. It's just a bit annoying.
The only thing I would say about the European thing, I think you can. What Rogers says to the press that he's not going to change it, right? We can only on Wednesday night. You can only see that the proof, like, because there's not really much point talking about it. To be honest, if I'm being honest, because
Yeah.
I just we'll see what happens on Wednesday night if there is a
He's not
change.
going to come out and say, sorry, Josh. He's not going to come out and say, oh, I'm going to rip everyone up and start again.
Aye,
It doesn't need that. All it needs is slightly tweaked.
aye, and I think with the European stuff, we'll see kind of what happens when it comes to the European stuff. Obviously, when we play Atalanta on Wednesday night, but
Don't get to the end.
I think for me that's what I was going to say. It's not about Atalanta on Wednesday night for me, and I don't think it is for any of you either. It's just about getting that 3 point because you can't keep. I know you're talking about dominating the league, and that's I do get your frustration. Don't get me wrong, but you can't take your eye off the ball in the league because if we
No.
drop
Yeah.
points and Aberdeen pick up points, and then if Rangers pick up points, that 5 point gap we had to Rangers is
very big.
it might be
That's
it
very
doesn't
big.
look very big anymore. And
Mm.
Aberdeen maybe tap the league if they did pick up points. So it's important that we just kind of, as you say, give Aberdeen the respect they deserve
Aye.
and just kind of focus on the league, and then we'll preview like Wednesday night because I think obviously European was frustration, but I still think I get what Alistair's saying about where we should be. Obviously, if the scoreline was emphatically bad, but I think in terms of results wise and how much points we've got the board and where we are in each competition, we're where we probably expected to be. And actually that has to continue the more in the league.
Yeah. I mean, but my point wasn't necessarily about Europe. My point's more about, you know, I've spoke to a lot of people about this and things like that, and say, for instance, obviously not talk about Europe, but if we get battered again, man, people are going to start, moaning, and that's going to create a negative energy. And I feel that we just need to progress, and like in the league and things like that. We're playing good football, and I'm happy about that. It's just I feel that Celtic as a club, the things that we've done, we should be progressing. I don't feel a positive energy that it should be there.
I mean,
I would say that's to you. Listen, when you've got a fan base as big as yours, people are going to moan. You can't avoid it. You're not going to please everybody. When we won 5-1 against Slovan Bratislava, people would say, what have we not won 5-0 for? You're always going to get people that moan with a big fan base. It comes with the territory of a big club, mate.
No,
You've got
yeah,
to
I
please
get
everybody.
I think I've made it. As I said earlier, I think European results. We'll talk European. The more is a league game, so it's important. I'm talking about the league European results. It was disappointing, but we'll look at it when it comes to it. I agree. I'm one of probably the biggest mourners out there, but
Oh,
it's
yes.
didn't say.
but I think European results. That comes next week and we'll see where we are on Wednesday night. The other thing I would say, just to kind of end off what you're saying about the Europe stuff, we're still
In a great
you know,
position.
still in a decent position because we've still got the home games that we've got a really good chance of winning. The good thing about this new format is that you're not playing Dortmund twice. So in previous years, you would have been out the competition on match day 2. If we get hammered off Dortmund, you'd be saying, right, there you go, that's Champions League for another year. It's not like that anymore because we've got games at home against young boys in
I mean,
Bruges, and then obviously maybe even Leipzig. We could, there's still winnable games where we could get points. Even Zagreb away.
Zagreb.
Aye, there's ways we can get points here. So I'd end off at that. And I think obviously you want to focus on the more, then you turn your because as what I said, if we look too far ahead, and I don't think Brendan Rodgers would be doing this, if we look too far ahead and then we'd be the more outside Celtic Park going, well, everybody looking too far ahead. So you just need to remain focused on what the task is at hand. I think the Celtic team have been really good at this season. It's no getting like before Dortmund. We didn't look to that Dortmund game. We were fully focused on what the task in hand was against St Johnstone and even against Bratislava the game before. Fully focused and just on what that game we're playing today. And I think Brendan Rodgers is good at that. I think a lot of managers and players can get carried away about what the bigger kind of glamorizer. But your games against away at Ross County, if you don't play half decent, and Aberdeen, if we're anywhere off it, Aberdeen will punish us tomorrow because you can. A game can be pretty simple, but if you're off it, you can make it extremely difficult.
Yeah, but I think Aberdeen can beat us on our best day as well. So the way they're playing, Aberdeen are. Celtic can play half decent tomorrow, and Aberdeen can still beat us because they're a good team. Let's not take anything away from them. They've got players that have been really good this season. If you look at the boys that have had like call ups like Devlin and what's the young midfielder called?
I know they've got that Finnish winger as well. He's been pretty
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie.
The left back.
Aye, so there's players there, and I genuinely, think that if we don't score an early goal, like I said against Ross County in the preview for that, it's going to be a difficult game because then the Celtic fans are going to start, getting a bit anxious and worried and things like that.
Aye, ALISTER, obviously Aberdeen, they're missing their probably main one. That is Papa Gay or something. His name is. They're missing him. He's going about for a long term, probably away into the new year. Obviously our injury front, Cameron Carter-Vickers, thankfully back into training. Roger says he'll assess and see if he plays tomorrow. Greg Taylor, as Nathan said, is out until after the Atalanta game. See, Cameron Carter-Vickers is a weird one for me, Alistair, because and I fully agreed with him not playing the games before the international break because I thought, right, rushing him back all the time isn't helping us because he's injured. He's back for a game and I don't think it's any fault of his own. What would you do tomorrow? Would you play him if there's a chance, or would you leave him?
Personally, Josh, I would look after him and I wouldn't play him tomorrow. And I'll tell you why. Because in domestic games, we'll have enough of the ball to do. I personally think we need Carter-Vickers for the long term. If we want to do anything in Europe, we need Carter-Vickers. So I don't think you can risk Cameron Carter-Vickers because what happens, you play him tomorrow, he breaks down and you have to bring on Trusty. Well, it would be Trusty, I would think. So I think you start trusting skills because, see, to be honest, they played reasonably well together with the exception of Dortmund. And if you take trust out, what you doing to his confidence?
Nathan, what about you? Would you play Vickers?
I'm stuck in two minds a bit. I wouldn't touch him against Atalanta for when I would rule him at Atalanta. But tomorrow it's a big game, and if he's available to play even a half, I'd play him the first half, then second half just take him off. But you need to protect him because he's our best player.
Aye.
Genuinely, Celtic with Vickers is a completely different team.
Aye, to be honest, my take on it is for me, I'd rest him because I just think I look at our schedule coming up. You've got a Premier Sports Cup semi-final. As Alistair says, we're at home, so we should have a decent amount of the ball and I would trust to pardon the pun, and Scales. I think Scales, for his flaws at times, has been moulded into a pretty decent S
In the ballpark.
defender for a SPFL like standard. I don't want him to go on fit and then we play him. Time he's up, and that's him out for another 3 games. Give him the time he needs to get rid of this
Niggle.
niggling injury that he's had for nearly 2 years, about a year and a half now. Just allow him time to get rid of it instead of playing him, because I don't think it benefits in terms in the long run when you've got teams like Leipzig at home. We've got Kilmarnock away, we've got Motherwell away next weekend. So
Yeah, I
there's
agree.
bigger games, and the worst thing you'd want is I'm injured for one of the young boys games or the Bruges game, because that's a game that we've got a really good chance of winning, Alistair.
Yep, definitely. And when I heard Rodgers' press conference, I thought I don't see Vickers starting. That was my gut instinct, and
Aye,
I think he'll play. I think he'll play trusting skills, because if you think about it at domestic level, okay, we gave a penalty away up at Dingwall, but did we really look like conceding apart for that? No, really.
aye,
Yeah.
So no, I would, and at the end of the day, trust it whether you and me, Nathan, like him or not. I personally like him, but we paid £6 million for the guy,
aye.
so
He needs to come in.
you can't just bomb him out the team and 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 basically say, because what does that do for an asset and for his confidence? So no, I'd keep him in.
Aye. We may as well go into also the team selection. Nathan, what would your team be?
Uh, same back four, midfield, Bernardo, Hatate, McGregor, and then up front, Kuhn, Kyogo, and Maida.
Alistair, what about you?
One same back four, one change to midfield. I think he'll go Engels, Hatate, and McGregor.
And then the
And
same front line as well.
Kun, Maeda, and Kyogo.
Well, I've went the other way with midfield. Same back four as obviously you have said. The midfield three for me: McGregor, Bernardo, and Engels. Hatate's a weird one for me. I not doing it for me this, and I'm a big Hatate fan, but I just think when Bernardo's come in, he's offered a bit more. I still think Hatate will play games. I don't doubt that Hatate. I'm not saying Hatate's finished at Celtic or anything, but I think the midfield for me is Engels, Bernardo, and McGregor, and then the front three obviously the same: Kuhn, Maeda, and Kyogo.
Why will be right?
One is will be right. I'll look McCowan
I
and
know.
start. Look
I
McCowan.
never-
And start.
It probably should, man.
I mean, there's a chance. But
I think there's
aye,
more chance that Luke McGowan starting at for Park, to be honest.
what about score
Right.
prediction?
I'm
Nathan?
going to go 3-0.
3-0, Nathan.
2-1 Celtic.
I'll go 3-1.
Do you just copy? Do you just copy Alistair and add an extra number?
No, I've always thought he said 3-0. So
I know. That's why I said add an extra number.
no, I think they will score, but I think we'll win pretty comfortably in the end. Before we finish up, I want to just quickly talk about our new, what we call him, the head of football operations.
The new football doctor is me. Dr. T.
Tisdale
or
or something his name.
Dr. Matt.
Dr. Tisdale, I think it's Tisdale his name is. Paul Tisdale, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Obviously finally we've got somebody in the footballing department. It seems to have been ages since Mark Walwell kind of left. I've always said that Celtic are light years behind when it comes to this. You know, a lot of your modern day football clubs have got somebody who deals with the football and operations side of it. We shouldn't. I've always said it, and I'll say it again. Peter Lobel, Michael Nicholson should be nowhere near our football and operations because, with all due respect, myself, with all due respect, they're dinosaurs, to be honest. So I'm kind of glad. No, I don't know an awful lot about this guy, but for me, Nathan, it's a step that had to kind of happen. We needed somebody in there who wasn't the chairman's son, Shahad, to oversee the whole football operation and just kind of liaison with Brendan Rodgers.
Well, I mean, from what I've read about the guy, he's got a pretty good reputation. So, it should be good.
I think he done a decent job at Exeter. I think he brought players like Ollie Watkins and stuff like that through, Sinisalo as well.
Did he?
What a
Aye.
player Ollie Watkins is.
Okay, average
But-
English striker.
I think it's good to see that we're, bringing somebody in just to deal with, and I don't know, he could be absolutely terrible for all I know, but it's one of those things where you can't really comment on it because I don't go about looking at football doctors, whatever they're calling now. It's just mad, to be honest. But also, it's a good appointment, I think, and it's something that had to happen. It's final. It's took a while, but it's finally happened.
I mean,
I'm a director of football out with a transfer window, so I think it's all jargon, to be honest. This
Aye.
head of football operations, call it what it is, it's a head of scouting role, and time will tell where the players they bring in.
Aye, pretty much. But I think, as you said, Alice, there's not really much else you can kind of say about it. It's not going to be somebody who's going to be bringing in.
I couldn't even tell you what Nick Hammond, Lee Congerton, Mark Lowell sounded like. I mean, did any of us ever hear any of the three speak?
No.
Not that I can remember.
the only time I remember Mark Lawwell was in Football Manager when did a Celtic thing.
Oh,
Quite
no. No, but what I mean is, you never ever heard any of them come out in
Aye.
the papers,
I think-
do interviews.
I think the mistakes, especially with Lee Congerton, and I think the mistakes that we'd done with that was they weren't backed. They weren't backed at all, to be honest. Now, if you're going to bring in somebody who's in this kind of field where he's got a decent footballing brain, you need to back him. So, as you said, Alistair, it'll be interesting to see. The proof will also be in the pudding and which signings he makes, and how successful they are. But as I said, you can't really judge it too much. But that's going to be it for the Aberdeen preview. Me and Nathan will be back tomorrow after the match outside Celtic Park. We're hopefully talking about a Celtic win. Until then, speeches later and hail hail.